Welcome to the Swim Bike Run Speeds demo. I'm going to be demoing the Swim Bike Run Speeds on the iPhone and iPod Touch. To get started, just click on the Swim Bike Run Speeds app. Here you can see in the new version you have an ability to add multiple different users for this app, and you can actually manage each user as you go. To add new users, just click on the Add button up here. If you want to edit user, you can click on the Edit and click on the user. It'll bring up that user details. You can change the athlete's name here. Some more settings for that user is basically the add-ons. You have additional functionality you can add to the app. So if you click on here, you can add that additional functionality. Each user has its own calorie calculation. So if I click on calorie calculation, you can see that for this user you have different settings that are required for calorie calculation. Changing the gender, changing the birthday of the user, putting in the weight of the user, all are used for the calorie calculation. To calculate your max heart rate, you basically have multiple different functions that you can select, or you can actually hard code the max heart rate if you know it. For calculating the average heart rate, there's two different set calculations you can use here. They actually both use the percentage of intensity. The average is 70, but let's say one of your events you worked pretty hard. You can say your average intensity was 85. It'll bump up your average heart rate calculation, but the default's always going to be 70. So if you know your resting heart rate, you can actually put it in here, and this calculation will use your resting heart rate. As well, with the max heart rate, average heart rate, and VO2 max can be hard-coded. So if you know your VO2 max, you can hard-code it here. Same thing with average heart rate. Okay. Next setting is global setting, decimal defaults. It's basically throughout the app you have multiple different decimal points that you'll see. You can change those here if you want, and these are going to be global throughout the app. Okay. Click on Save. If you click on History Refined, History Refined is basically through the History tab. You can actually do a sort for the history data. You can actually do a filter. So let's say history, you only want to see the bike history. You can set the filter here. To clear the filter, just click on the Clear button, or you can save it. So I'm just going to clear it. More information, you'll see this information button throughout the app, but in more information, it's going to have all the settings that I just went through, and the information is basically going to have information that helped you get through the app. So help is going to have all the help tutorials. Comment and question, you can actually send me a comment or question via email or my website. Rate or review is basically you can rate this app on the Apple Store. To share it, you can share via email or SMS. And then about, you can actually take a look at our other apps, or take a look at our website and get more information about us. Okay. If I just click cancel, it'll basically change, not save my settings. If I click save, it'll go into the calculation, but I wanted to give you more information about this users page. Here you have rate, is basically taking you to the Apple Store to rate this app, and more is going to be that add-on functionality if you want more to the app. You can see this information button, which I talked about. It'll basically show you all the information. You'll see this multiple times throughout the app. Okay, so if I wanted to delete a user, I can swipe and delete, or click on Edit, hit the delete button like that, and it'll delete that user. Okay. If I wanted to go into the user, I just click on the user itself. You can see that it has all the calculation page for you. You have distance, time, pace, and speed, and calories. And some of these fields are calculated, and some of them are not. An important add-on to this app is basically the ability to change your calculations. So if you want to calculate your pace and speed based off your distance and time, you just change the lock buttons, and you'll know that things will be calculated when they're in red. So if it's unlocked and the fields are in red, they'll be calculated. So if I just click on calculate, it'll basically calculate the information. So let's say if you know your time and pace, but you want to know your distance and speed off that time and pace, you can click on calculate and it will calculate those as well. So once I start changing information, you can see the distance and pace being changed, distance and speed being changed. Okay. So you can change each distance value. For each distance, you actually have different distances you can set for that event, and basically defaults for each distance. Okay. For calories, each calorie is going to be set for that. So if you click on calories, you can see these are all the calorie calculations which I put in. Let's say my average intensity for this event was a little higher. Click on close and save. You can see if I calculate my calories are going to be a little bit higher based off that intensity. Date, you can actually change the event's date. So if it was in the past, you could change it there. Okay, or you can do future dates. The action button down here on the left, you can actually clear the fields or send the calculation in email. So if I send the calculation, it'll give you all the information for that page. So a screenshot. Okay. So swim, bike, run is basically there's 3 different ones. The only difference is basically the distance, and the distance is here. If I click on event, it'll give me the different distances for running. If I click on a bike distance, it'll give me distances for the bike. So if I want to see my history, I can click on the history tab here. It'll show you all my history for that user. If I want to refine that filter, just like before, you could sort it by sport. Let's say I just want to see my swims. Click on save and it'll just show me my swim history. You can see how in the history tab everything that's in red was calculated. So the fields that are in black are set. So here I was calculating the distance and speed off my time and pace. If I want to edit this, I just click on that row, and I can edit this any way I want. Okay. If I go back, it won't save it, but if I want to save it, it'll save it and update it in the history tab. Okay. If I want to show all my history, I just clear the filter and it'll show me all my events. The new functionality also is to export your details. If I click on the export button, you can see that all my details from that page are set. On this page, you can actually filter by each one of the titles by clicking them. If you want to export this information, you can export it via email to include the Excel comma-separated file or just an email. So if I include the Excel file, you can see that it's an attachment, and then my details from that page, including the sort that was done. Okay. If I go back to my history, let's say I only want to export my bikes, click on save, export again, you can see that it has just my bike details. Okay. Also, if you want to clear, I think I talked about this, clearing the filter, but if you want to change your orientation throughout the app, there's multiple different orientations you can use. So that's app-wide. To delete an event, you can actually do a swipe and delete, or you can do edit and delete the event that way. Okay. That's pretty much it for the demo for the Swim, Bike, Run Speeds app. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to take a look at the website. It's walshitech.com. Or if you want to go to the info page, you can send me a comment or question. the email or the website. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the app.